Hello everyone. So today I will be starting off with the class 11th legal studies subject, and obviously we are gonna do chapter 1 first. But before that, before we start, I wanna make an announcement that today I am starting off with the class 11th series of legal, but 12th one I am not gonna do simultaneously. It will start but a few days after, okay? And it will be a beautiful session wherein I will try to explain all the things in English as far as will be possible. Moreover, in some places where I want to give an explanation in Hindi or English, so I will switch between those two languages for my convenience, and as far as your convenience is concerned, I will keep that thing in mind. So not waiting more, let's ring the bell for the chapter 1, concept of state and nation. So you can see what are the contents of it. You may have the books, you can see the contents. I am directly coming on to the theory of this chapter, right? Okay. Emergence of state from society. The state is usually described as society politically organized. Okay, so what it's given, what is society? Whenever somebody says this common term society, so what first thing comes to your mind? Society is something where we live, right? Our surroundings, the people who are surrounding us, who are living along with us, we generally term them as that this is our society. This is the neighborhood or the society in which we live. Any question, any tradition, any clans which are going on, and any hereditary religion which is continuing into a particular area or region, we term them as a society. A village has a different sort of traditions, and so their society is different from that which is found and prevalent in the urban areas. So the educational institutions, the tribes, the family education is an important factor, right? So different types of criteria determine that what sort of society is prevalent. Any tradition which we found fault in, we say that society has formed that tradition and so we are following them. So what is society? Society is nothing but a group of people who live in a collective form, and they form the society. They have different sort of their traditions, cultures, and educational values, etiquettes, etc. Okay, so state is a society politically organized. Now you know what is society, right? So what is a state? State is a society which is organized on political basis. Political basis, you can take it. We have 28 states in our country at present, right? So how are these states formed? They were formed on the basis of vernacular languages which were spoken by the people whenever they crossed some boundaries. The term politically organized doesn't show that the politicians live there or the political parties have formed that society, but politically organized means something which is formed out of groups. Okay, so society is an association of human beings who live a collective life and form social relations to fulfill their needs of life. You may have some relations with your neighbors. So what are those? They are the social relations that you form with your neighbors so that you can proceed a peaceful life, right? You can say peaceful or you can say enjoyable life, because whenever a problem comes, your neighbors would help you, right? So that may be physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. What? That is what here? The relations that you form with the people who live around you may be physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. You may have physical relations with somebody, you may be emotionally connected to somebody, right? The presence of societal institutions presence of societal institutions like family, clans, tribes, villages, religious institutions, educational institutions, workplace associations, etc. in a society is a fact which cannot be denied. So what all we find in a society? Society is nothing but a basic neighborhood, okay? What you may find in your neighborhood? You may find some shops, some families, right? That obviously will be your neighbors. Some clans, some tribes, and in cities at the outskirts there are villages in every cities, right? The religious institutions, temple, mosque, church, etc. School, colleges, that is the educational institutions also you may find in your surroundings. In your surroundings is not your immediate surrounding, but the people or the surroundings from which you may get affected or which may affected by your actions, right? That is your neighborhood. Okay, society is the whole web of social relationship based on kinship affinity, language affinity. Affinity is nothing but attraction. Okay, attraction in the sense that a connection between two things, or an attraction is connection here. Okay, so what all relationship you can form on the basis of language, like if two people speak the same vernacular language or if their mother tongue is same, there is an emotional attachment between the two, right? It automatically comes. You may or may not have observed, I don't know about that, but a natural attraction comes when two people meet who speak the same language, same mother tongue, who have religious affinity belonging to the same religion, common concise of individuals, and territorial affinity. Social relationships are governed by necessity, custom, courtesy, morality, mutual understanding, agreement, or even contract. So when we form a relationship between two people, so that is governed by the necessity. If it is so urgent, we will form a relationship, right? So urgent, so necessity, in the sense that if you need to buy something, okay, if you are in a requirement of a particular article and you go to the market and buy it, so you are in a relationship and this is an agreement. Okay, you will study later on, buying and selling is an agreement. Custom, courtesy, morality, if you are helping an injured person, so you are developing a relationship, a relation with a stranger, with an injured stranger, to help him, so that is your morality. Your morals are governing you to do that, to help him, right? Agreement or contract, you can say contract is a standardized version of agreement. Okay, when you have a legal intention, whenever you are entering into an agreement with somebody and you are having a legal intention behind that. Legal intention in the sense that if any dispute arises in between the agreement, you are ready to take that dispute into a court of law. So that means you have a legal intention behind that agreement. So when a legal agreement, a legal action or intention comes into place, agreement gets converted into a contract. Okay, so that's the difference. And so we can say that a contract is nothing but a standardized version of agreement. Okay, so what is there in this para? I have explained you. Now let's come to the next paragraph. When a society is governed by a common set of laws, rules, regulations, and obey a supreme authority, it qualifies for being a state. So when a society, a collection of people, they are following a certain set of laws, rules, regulations, and they are subject to a supreme authority which they are bound to obey, then that society, that collection of people will qualify as they are a state. Okay, the state fulfills the need of political organization of society to realize the purpose of collective living. This is what we understand from the famous phrases used by Aristotle in his treatise Politics, where he observed that man is a social animal, man is a political animal. Why? Because man lives in a society which is political organization of people, and in turn a state is a political organization of society. Okay, thus the state is formed out of society. Society is the primary association. Primary means basic, at the rudimentary level. At the basic level, as we say that cell is the basic formation of our body, because the cell is the part from which tissues are made. Tissues are the part from which organs are made. Organ systems are made from organs, and from organ systems the whole body is made, right? So what is the primary association? Cell. Similarly, for a state, society is the primary association. A state is formed to regulate political activity of individuals for social order. The state depends on society for its existence and not vice versa. Obviously, if society is basic level of forming a state, then state will depend on society for its existence. What is society? Collection of people. If there are no people, no state will be formed. Okay. R.M. McLever, in his famous work, The Modern State, has observed thus: there are social forms like family, church, club, which owe neither their origin nor their inspiration to the state, and social forces like custom or competition, which the state may protect or modify, but certainly does not create, and social motives like friendship or jealousy, which establish relationships too intimate and personal, to be controlled by the great engine of the state. The state, in a word, regulates the outstanding external relationships of men in society. So what this whole dialogue conveys to you? There are social forms like family, church, that is the clans, the religious institutions, right, which exist in a society, but their origin nor their inspiration is essential for a state formation. Custom or competition, which a society may protect or modify. Custom or competition in the sense that, like I said, in India, states were made on the basis of vernacular languages, right, which were spoken and which changed from distance to distance, right? So those states can protect that culture which is existing. Like Maharashtra, people speak Marathi. Majority of people living there speak Marathi. Okay, so the state government, if decides, they can protect and enhance the culture of speaking their local language, that is Marathi. Okay, so that state, that society, if it wants, it can protect or modify the customs or traditions which are prevalent over there, but certainly they will not create one. Okay, they will not create one, but what will be existing there, they can modify or protect it. And friendship and jealousy, this creates an intimate relationship between men, and they are personal, to be controlled by great engine of state. So what is a state? In a word, lump sum, state represents the external relationships between people living in a society. Obviously, if you live in a society, you will be interacting with the other people who are living there. A man cannot live alone. That's why Aristotle said that man is a social animal, because he cannot live alone. He lives in a society, and so he is bound to interact with the other people who are living there. Okay, we will start from the second part in the next lecture. Okay, so this much is enough, and this series will continue by this way only, 10 minutes lecture each. Okay, so stay tuned and goodbye till the next lecture comes up.